Hey, there is nothing more.
Game time decisions. It is a packed Tuesday night here on SportsGrid. Kevin Walsh and Gabriel Morency, NBA, NHL playoffs, another day closer to the NFL draft. And I'm actually going to I made a little note, Gabe, just in case, a 6:10 baseball game with one of your favorites in baseball, Parker Messick, getting the ball against the Astros. We got a busy night here.
Well, I'll tell you what, he nearly threw a no-hitter his last start out. And I'll tell you what as well, Kevin, most of the time people like to fade pitchers off a great start, right? Especially unknown pitchers. Well, that was a fluke. They're not going to be able to do it again. But we've talked about how good he's been and how little they lose when he pitches as well. And you've got a Houston Astro team that's just absolutely, scuffling right now. Minus 150, Cleveland Guardians goes off the board in a couple of minutes. Can't lie to you, though. Lost my St. Louis Cardinal pick last night, the early baseball pick, and nothing like getting the night started with a loss, Kevin. So I'm a little bit gun-shy here early, but it's Guardians or pass for me.
Yeah, I decided to walk through the fire after, and I know you were following this game. Royals, Orioles, under 9, 1-0, 2 outs.
That is the worst beat.
Final score. I couldn't believe
I don't
my
like
eyes,
the term
Dave.
bad beat. You know what I mean? It's like bad beat. You lost the bet. It's a bad bet. You didn't win the bet. I also don't like the term. It was a good bet. When it lost, it was still a good handicap. No, it wasn't. It lost.
Yeah.
It was not a good handicap, right? So, like, people when they lose, Kevin, it's always someone else's fault, right?
Yeah.
The team sucks. The refs suck. Like, it's like, your pick sucked, right? It's not a bad beat. Your pick sucked. But you bet an under of a baseball game in 2026 in this modern era. You bet an under, and it's 1-0 in the ninth inning, and you lose. That's a bad beat.
That's pretty tough.
That's a bad beat.
Tough. I was on the phone with my brothers, and I just hear, "Oh no, Kev," because they had it on. They knew I didn't. Grand slam. Gabe, I was hoping for a push all of a sudden. Like all of a sudden, I'm hoping for a push in that baseball. Look, it is what it is. The thing is, I can't be too mad because I tell people this all the time. If I have an over in a baseball game at any score, just get me to extras, and I think I have a chance. That's what the ghost runner, I don't know how, but you just put a runner on second base and 15 runs could possibly come in extra innings. We've seen it happen throughout, the baseball.
If you need runs, then, of course, nobody can score, even with the ghost runner. It goes into the 13th inning. It's like, come on, guys. You got a guy on second base for free here. And you still can't capitalize on it. Yeah. Listen, I lost, and people aren't going to sympathize with it. Some people were on it probably. It was last week, 10 days ago. Whatnot. The season's not that old yet, but similar situation happened. It wasn't 1-0, Kevin, but it was 2. I think it was 2-1. It was the Florida and Cincinnati, if you remember.
Yes,
I had the under.
Yes.
I thought it was a great cap. I'm like, under 8.5. Great bet. Under 8.5. Dude, it was 1-0 all game type thing. Same thing. It was 2-1 with like 2 out in the bottom of the ninth type stuff. Like wild pitch. Like it was just one of those like you can't make up. You're like, you got to be kidding me. You threw a wild pitch, and then like they tied it, and then it ended up going to extra innings, and then same thing turned into like home run, double down into the gap, like just skyrocketed over the number. It's gonna happen once in a while. Seems like we're on the wrong. It's like when we talk about it. When you want garbage points late in an NBA game, you can't get it, right? It's inevitable. Like it never, And speaking of which, last night was good call by you on the Atlanta Hawks.
Thank you.
Last night, and we talked about the Minnesota Timberwolves responding as well. And the Raptors kind of did. I mean, bad, that's a good question right there. Was that a bad beat? You get 9.5 with the Raptors. They lost by 10. I don't really know it was a bad beat. It was frustrating, but it wasn't a bad beat.
But this isn't, I swear, I've said this before, but it's a real thing. There's a lot of things I learned from even all the years ago I used to do the shows with Gabe. He goes, if you have a bunch of bad beats, be happy. It means you were close. There's a lot of people out there who are losing bets by 20. Okay, just a bad beat.
That's when you got a problem.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, it's probably better to have bad beats than just get smoked on certain things. But
well, if your handicap is
Gabe.
good, like I said, there's no such thing as good handicap if you lose. But like I said, if you're losing by a half a point and you're losing by a point, you're losing like in overtime, etc. Your process is working. You need to understand. You need to just win more than you lose, but you need to understand the breaks aren't always going to be with you. But it is still frustrating, nevertheless.
But now we have a situation, Gabe, and I've gone over this, and I don't think I've missed one, but, it's only a couple of games. I don't think we've had a team so far this postseason lose and cover in the NBA, which is interesting, right? You look at the numbers tonight. 14.5 Boston, 11.5 San Antonio.
Yeah.
Even, look, 5.5 for a road team in Houston right now. I am curious, do we get a cover and a loss yet? Toronto almost did it, right? But I think there are people tonight betting dogs, not sprinkling money line here. Very interested to see if we get, hey, Blazers hung around, lost by 5 type of situation.
Yeah, what? It's 8-0 now, right? It's 8 games. That's unbelievable. You're right.
11, I think, Gabe, now. 11.
Is it 11? What are we?
Saturday, Sunday, and then
it's Monday, Tuesday. Yeah. I'm losing track of days here. 11 nights.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah,
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, 11-0. Now 11 games, and as Kevin is stating, to put in context, guys, nobody's covered a point spread yet. Like nobody's lost and said, you know what, we lost the game, but we covered. We covered a bet. They were getting 9 and they lost by 6. Hasn't happened. The Raptors came close, and truth be told, the Portland Trailblazers came super close the other game too. Right? Yes, the Spurs never really blew them away. The Blazers were trading baskets. The Blazers are a good team, and the Blazers have size as well. But Wembanyama's just too much when this guy's dropping bombs and hitting threes like he is. But Portland did hang around. But if you had to ask me tonight, Kevin, I would say, listen, do you want Philadelphia? That's a big leap of faith. It's a leap of faith. You could say, all right, like Boston, just roll them. Same, Portland and San Antonio, I think we kind of have a similar type of situation, guys. I think San Antonio are better than they are, but Portland can hang around, and wouldn't shock me if Portland lost by 9, right? But I'm not ready to pull the trigger on them. I would say the Lakers, Kevin. I like the Lakers as dogs tonight, and I think this game is going to be close. I don't think the Lakers get blown out. I think the Lakers either lose a really close one or they win the game outright again.
I'll say this with this game here. I like Houston, but because I don't think Durant plays, I think I might get the Rockets at pick. I could be wrong. We obviously come here. We want to give you guys picks. I will give you all the picks I have.
That's a good point. If you want to pull the trigger now. And how effective is Durant going to be even if he plays? Let's be real.
I don't even want to. That's the thing. I don't want to bet the Rockets with Durant. I don't want to deal with banged up, throw off rhythm, but then they're running every play for him because he is Kevin Durant. That is not as attractive to me as Houston -1. And it's the same lineups. That is something I would much prefer. If you like the Lakers, bet them now. Because it's not going to close 7-8, if they rule Durant in. The books right now are showing a level of confidence in KD playing that I will tell you, I don't agree with. But I'm not jumping on it because I'd rather be on Houston tonight here in this spot. That's kind of the way that I'm feeling with this game right now. We don't have any official word, and it's tough. It's a 10:30 tip. We're not going to know until... East Coast time, Gabe? 9:30 probably?
Yeah. And they're going to keep it as close to the vest as possible, even more so than usual. But I agree with your take in the sense that a lot of times, Kevin, I'd be like, he's playing. No, the star's playing. He's playing. We knew last night Anthony Edwards was playing. You know what I mean? It was he's whatever, he's playing. Kevin Durant, I don't know. You can't just say, he's going to play. Right? I thought he would play in game 1. You know what I mean?
Everyone, yes.
Yeah, I'd be like, no. He'll tape it up. He'll be fine. No. But no. So, no, I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't play tonight.
Hockey on deck. By setting the play-in up like this, what the NBA is letting everybody know is that the back-to-backs are completely unacceptable and the worst thing about their schedule. And these fools,
now they give them
guys to
3
play.
days off for one game. Yeah.
They're so scared of back-to-backs. They go, not even in the play-in could we dream of giving anybody a back-to-back.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
It looks like Rory McIlroy and Scottie Scheffler have replaced Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson as must-see golf TV. 14 million people on average watch the Masters on Sunday on CBS. That's not including Paramount Plus. It's up 8% from last year, and it just about tied what was probably the best Masters Sunday performance. That was in 2015 when Jordan Spieth won it.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
We may be talking about this as one of the best divisions in baseball. It's not generally something we do, but if the Pirates just hold court and the Reds just hold court and the Cubs are in this thing, the Brewers are going to be there in the end too. I mean, that's 4 of the 5 teams. I do think the Cardinals are going to push back at some point. They'll fall back a little bit, but I got 4 teams with a possibility of making the postseason here, Donnie.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Whatever your next job is, the first 24 hours, it's going to be a rehashing of this. Mm-hmm. You have to suck that up. You can't avoid that. Like, I haven't been in prison in 7 years.
But people do bring it up.
And every story written about me still references the fact that I got in trouble.
Right.
So, unfortunately, you have to live with that the rest of your professional career.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
All right, let's get right after it here. The NHL postseason is picking up. To help us out, break that down, Andrew McKinnis, of course, you've seen him across SportsGrid, does an excellent job really covering all sports, but especially the NHL. And McKinnis, I want to start with this because, look, I'm not the hockey guy here, but I'll pick my spots. And I am going for the chalkiest. I am the rat running right under the trap. It's not even a straight bet. I'm just taking teams that I kind of like and then throwing the Avs next to them because Colorado is so good. They're the favorites. They're at home. How do you view this matchup between Colorado and LA tonight?
I've got one bet in this game here, and the bet is as simple as could be. You got to look at the goalie save prop for Anton Forsberg because Colorado won a game that, unfortunately for LA, it was probably the worst game for Colorado of the series and the best game defensively of LA, and they lost it. So sometimes we look at sides, sometimes you look at totals, sometimes a prop bet is the best bet on the board. Anton Forsberg over 27.5 saves is the move. The only way this loses is if the guy gets pulled out of the game, because I'm that confident Colorado's going to have that many shots on goal. So I replied to your tweet with the yes, yes, yes. It is the lag. It's the lag to throw in all these parlays. Game 1, similar to the Boston Bruins, game 1 was the game for LA to win, and they blew it.
A lot of confidence in the pick. You've sold me. I'm down now. I got to get in on this prop with Forsberg over. All right, so look at us. This is embarrassing. I didn't know you're going to be rocking a Canadiens jersey, but looking good. McKidd. So as far as this game is concerned tonight, listen, we saw it last night with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Just because a team needs to win or wants to win and all that, and they lost the first game, they're going to bounce back tonight. It doesn't automatically happen. If you look at the Montreal Canadiens in Tampa in game 1, the Canadiens were the better team. Right, they had a lot more legitimate scoring opportunities. I think there were a lot of positives you could take away if you were the Canadiens. Last year, you were helter-skelter. You were overwhelmed in the playoffs against Washington. Completely different team. Dobish looked very calm and confident between the pipes. Vasilevsky's not what he used to be right now. There's no lock that Tampa wins this game tonight, McKinnis. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to overtime again. I'm on the Habs to win the series in 7. I got the series to go over 5.5 games, but I like Montreal plus 1.5 goals tonight. What are you doing with the game?
I like the first period over in this game. Look, I got involved in the game 1. I took the Montreal Canadiens. Look, the value still sticks with Montreal. But we do know that Tampa Bay is in a tremendous bounce-back team. Vasilevsky's a great bounce-back goaltender. But I do think the first period over clicks here. I know we saw it start 9-0 in the playoffs to first period unders, but I think that's a lot of a feel-out process. We're going to go out and be physical. We're not even going to play hockey. Well, now they're playing hockey. I think first period over here. I think Tampa gets on the board. I think the Habs get on the board. I also like over 5.5 goals. A little chalk, willing to lay it. But the thing is, how many penalties are we going to see? Will we see these teams be more disciplined? Both teams, especially John Cooper, he called his team stupid. He said we were stupid as far as our penalties. We're not playing anybody else. But I feel like that could hurt the Canadiens scored. Total. Yeah,
scored 3 power play goals in game 1. Three of their goals, 6. They had 6 power play opportunities. They scored 50% of the time. And like Cooper said, Andrew, he said 50% is good if it's like 1 for 2.
Yeah.
He said, you can win if it's like 50%, it's 1 for 2. He goes, 3 for 6 is like, dear God. And he goes, and they said, well, the refs. And he goes, I don't blame the refs. He goes, I blame my guys. He goes, they were stupid penalties we took. Right? So they're not, they're going to be more disciplined tonight, but I just want to jump in, McKinnon, and say that. Good point as far as the overs, and, the first period unders, but the game started to open up. The refs aren't calling it like playoffs, Kevin. It's very sort of, they don't want it turning into a war, and they don't want scuffles after every play in game 1. It'll take forever. The games will be 4 hours. And so they sort of pace it. So they are calling penalties, which is leading to power plays. But so you like the over in the game. You like the over in the first period. I think the Sabres keep it rolling tonight, McKinnon. And full disclosure, I thought Boston were going to beat them in game 1. I thought they would get too excited at home. And I thought I was a genius when it was 2-0 all game and there was 7.5 minutes left. But now, like you said, I think Boston missed their shot to win on the road. And now Buffalo, I think, keep it going tonight now that they don't have the same pressure, not playing their first playoff game in 14 years.
Well, that's exactly how I feel as well. I had the Boston Bruins in game 1. There was a point in time where I was feeling fantastic. I was like, wow. The Canadiens won. I bet the Canadiens. I'm on the Bruins as well. And my whole plan going in was originally to bet both teams and to assume that there was going to be at least a split for both teams. But the more I thought about it, Gabe, I was like, man, that was the game the Bruins had to win. Like, can they win game 2? I don't know. So I know I'm kind of copping out with the side pick. I don't really like them that much, but this is another goalie saves prop, man. Right now, the number for Swayman is over 25.5 saves. If the Bruins have any remote chance of winning this game, you go to the prop market, you take Swayman over 25.5. You know what cracks me up? Bruins fans always say, we never have a goaltender. You guys had Tim Thomas, Tuukka Rask, Allmark, Swayman. It's never the goalie's fault. You scored 2 goals, you sat back, and you lost the game. And so to me, the number one key for the Bruins here is the goaltender. I want to throw this at you, though. You talked about the Lightning and the Penguins as well. This is Stanley Cup playoffs. Does losing game 1 as a home favorite equal making money? Well, 17-14, that's 64.8% with an average line of minus 167. That's an ROI of minus 10%. So a lot of times the must win, like you said, does not mean will win because they're all such massive favorites. So long term, taking these teams that have to win game 2, like you mentioned, Gabe, it's not profitable always.
Yeah, really, really interesting setup here. I do want to bring up Vegas and Utah before we let you go. McKinnis, again, awesome as always. Everybody make sure you follow him over on Twitter. Just does an incredible job. We only got about 30 seconds left here, but Vegas expected to take a 2-0 series lead tonight against Utah.
The biggest thing that I worry about when it comes to Vegas, and I can't believe I'm saying this, is actually discipline. This is a men amongst boys type of series here. Old team versus young team. They look like they were taking a lot of penalties and a lot of tough play that could come back to haunt them. Over 2.5 team total for Utah, plus 1.5 for Utah. Dylan Guenther over on his shots.
Oh, man. All right. Fantastic. See, that's how he knows how to just kind of fire him off there at the end, involved with all of these games. Going to be a lot of fun to follow. McKinnis, we appreciate it. We got Craig Mish on deck right here on Game Time Decisions. Game Time Decisions on SportsGrid. Kevin Walsh joined by Craig Mish, host of Newswire right here on SportsGrid, along with Pro Baseball Today, covering all things Major League Baseball for us. And Craig, I want to start with, I guess, the first bad moment of this Los Angeles Dodgers season, because at 16-6, the World Series favorites have looked like the best team in baseball. And I think we would both agree that, I mean, unless they were maybe 6-16, it'd be like, don't worry about it. When the playoffs got here, they're the team to beat. But they lose Edwin Diaz, one of the type of moves that I know have you very, curious about what the negotiations will look like, lockout and things to change. But Diaz was, supposed to come in and be one of the most dominant closers in baseball for a team that expects to have a lot of late leads. What was your reaction to Edwin Diaz now set to miss 3, maybe more months of baseball here?
Yeah, I mean, really not that much. At first, it feels like a big deal, but this is the one team that it probably has the least impact on, honestly, Kevin. Like, it was just a couple of years ago that they did the same thing with Tanner Scott. If you remember, they signed him to close games for them too. So it's plug and play for these guys. They'll just keep finding someone there. They're also winning all these games without Mookie Betts. They probably would have to incur a couple more injuries for something like this to happen. I mean, here we are with this kid Dalton Rushing on fire at the start of the season. We didn't even factor him into the equation for LA at the beginning of the year. So honestly, Kevin, as long as Edwin Diaz is pitching games in July, August, and September, I just don't think that they'll miss that much of a beat here.
Yeah, that's fair. Also, I think they probably expect to maybe have more than just a 1-run lead in a lot of those games, or 2-run lead, right? So we'll see how that plays out. Going over to the NL East, and we've talked Mets, because they've lost 11 in a row. All of a sudden, the Philadelphia Phillies have lost 6 in a row. The Washington Nationals aren't, loaded with expectations. Of course, this Miami Marlins team so well. And at 11 and 12, I mean, there are teams behind them that would kill to be 11 and 12. But would you, I don't want to say over, but the Braves lead that they hold right now, would you be surprised if they don't win this division based on how the season has started?
I mean, Philadelphia would be a prime contender. I'm not going to rule them out by any stretch. The Mets at this point is seemingly difficult to expect that, but we still have a
Hmm.
long way to go until they get back Soto and start winning some games. I got nothing great to say about the Mets, but Philadelphia does have some wild cards there. If Wheeler fixes himself and
Mm.
Sanchez and Nola, and you could create a path to figuring this thing out, even though their closers on the IL. But inevitably, what they have to figure out, Kevin, is can Schwarber get back to where he was a couple years ago? Can Harper do that? Where is GT
Hmm.
Realmuto's career? Where is Alec Boehm and so many of the other hitters on their team? It feels like they have like 3 or 4 hitters, and that's it. So
Yeah.
Dave Dombrowski, generally speaking, is not somebody that's just going to watch this go by and lose 90 games. So I would be very surprised if this was the Philadelphia team that we saw all season long. I would expect them to make some sort of changes to get things going.
Okay, really interesting. Under a similar guideline, and this is I like to just keep track of, names to watch. And then if there's a guy like just don't even bother, then we don't even bother, right? Like the Mets could have 40 wins. We're not going to talk about Juan Soto being traded, right? We know that that's not a thing. They're not going
I
to
don't
sell
think
to
so.
that level. Jordan Alvarez is, off to this Triple Crown-esque start. You've talked about how concerning things look in Houston. Is Jordan the type of player that no matter what, he's an Astro going into the next season, or that could be a guy maybe they take phone calls on?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think anything is possible with Houston because,
Mm,
again, Altuve would be the one that would surprise me just because I figure he ends his career there. But I could
sure.
see Correa. I could see some movement happening there. And Alvarez is also a curious kind of player because he's worth more maybe to Houston, Kevin, than he is to some other team. I mean, he's not going to play elite defense anywhere on the field. So essentially, you're looking at a part time defender and
Hmm.
probably a designated hitter. So you have to find the right spot there. And looking around the league, there's probably not like a great 15 teams that have a position open to take a guy like that and just say, hey, no field time for you. So it is curious. But wouldn't I would say that he's not a guarantee to stay with the team forever. I would make that statement.
Yeah, I think that that's interesting. I think it's one to watch then all of a sudden. Just, if these teams can't pull themselves out, I just think from, all of these conversations that we get to have, Craig, and, it's a lot of fun for me. I think it's a lot of fun for the audience. It's very insightful. But the line that stuck with me the most is just you can ruin your season in April. You're not going to win a World Series, but you can. And there are a couple of teams who have a couple of
Oh yeah.
big name guys
Royals
that
too.
100%. I like Bobby Witt though welcoming the booze. He's like, listen, we deserve it. That guy, that's a right New York attitude, right up my alley there, Craig. Appreciate it so much. We'll be right back here on. All right, back right here. It is game time decisions on a Tuesday night. We got NBA playoff action to get to, but there are a couple of good 640 spots here for Major League Baseball. Always am just trying to, make sure I remember to bring up these 640 games. There's a couple that I like. I know behind the scenes, one of the best bets will come from that window as well. So let's do that quickly. AJ, in our first Red Sox-Yankees game of the season, is going to go with Boston at Fenway Park on the money line there. Louis Heel, I know, is a favorite fade target of AJ's, and he kind of meets that spot. Again, for myself, Major League Baseball-wise, and I actually have a few picks, but the one that is coming up at 640 for me is the Tigers on the money line here. I think minus 112 is pretty generous. Detroit is 8-1 at home. I entered the season thinking they were better than Milwaukee. This is still an injured Brewers lineup. No Yelich, no Churio. I think we're getting a good number here on Detroit at home. Gabe, was there anything else baseball-wise that caught your eye, whether it would be 640 or even later tonight?
Well, to me, an interesting storyline coming into tonight is just sort of, it's fascinating to me that they have played as many times as they have. And I don't know if you guys have seen this, but the Dodgers and the Giants, their all-time record against each other, they are tied. They both have 1,288 wins. The Dodgers and Giants are 1,288 and 1,288 all time. Big series, Kevin.
I would. Well, I'll tell you what, Gabe.
Big series.
I wouldn't have got involved with that, but I'll tell you this, Gabe. I was looking at this spot here tonight, and I laid the run line with the Dodgers. And low total on the road, you always want to be careful. However, I think the Dodgers, look, the bats are alive coming out of Coors. Yamamoto has just been so good to start this season. Obviously, he's going to be a part of the Cy Young conversation. And to me, I'm not here. A Dodgers 4-3 win, I'm wrong. I'm more here looking at a Dodgers 6-1 type of victory here in this baseball game. So I went run line. I don't want to use the Dodgers as a money line parlay piece because, Gabe just laid it out. Historically, these are teams that are super close, right? This will be one of these. The Dodgers are going to dominate a lot of people and then just play the NL West tight. Like, that's just kind of what happens. The Rockies grab a game off them. The Diamondbacks, Gabe. So, the Diamondbacks usually can find a way to grab games. Wait till they play the Padres. I went run line. It's either Dodgers by a lot or I want nothing to do with it.
Yeah, you know what? You're better off almost taking a Colorado or a Pittsburgh or a Washington we've seen against the Dodgers. You can maybe catch them a little bit bored, right? Maybe, and just for one game, 2 games maybe, right? But you're not going to catch the Dodgers flat against the San Francisco Giants. Like, the crowd doesn't do them any favors. Their home team, the beat LA stuff. And if you're a Dodger player, you just feel the energy. And I tell you what, pressure on San Francisco for real now, right? I think, now it's the Dodgers. You get swept by the Dodgers, then that's like, wow, the Yankees came in here and beat us up. Now the Dodgers come in here. The Dodgers are like nothing more. And not to mention, Kevin, as good as the Dodgers are playing, so this whole, the Dodgers ruining baseball, whatever, dude, they're a half game up. Well, whatever. But San Diego, look at, San Diego are winning games too, right? And they're sort of pushing that pace. It reminds me of a couple of years ago, about 4 years ago. If you guys remember, the Dodgers won 106 and San Francisco actually won 107, right? Like the National League West, some of these teams get going at times. So it actually is a big series for the Dodgers, as crazy as it sounds, right? Like they're not running away with the division right now. You're playing a big-time division rival. It's a division game. This stuff matters. Saying this is big time for San Francisco. So there's an extra edge to this tonight. So like you said, you can run line it. They're 185 on the money line, which is just sort of that cutoff, a little bit higher. 70 cents is sort of my cutoff with money lines, right? And or you could parlay the Dodgers. But I do think the Dodgers are going to win the series.
Another team who needs a series. I thought this was fascinating, Gabe. We talked about the Mets quite a bit, 11 straight losses. Their next 9 games, all at home, 3 against Minnesota, 3 against Colorado, 3 against Washington. Juan Soto is projected to be back on Wednesday. I don't know what the record's going to be. I feel confident in saying this. The Mets, who've lost 11 in a row, or is it 12 in a row, one of the two, are going to be favored in all 9 of their next 9 baseball games. Doesn't mean they're going to win 9 in a row, but they got an opportunity. Yeah, I knew you were going to love that part of it. I was going to let you be the one to bring it up. Go for it. I know where you're going.
Yeah, so here we go. Has Nolan McLean once, Kevin, this year since – no. He's never come off a win. He's always coming off a loss. The Mets always lose before this kid pitches. It really is unbelievable. But even he couldn't snap it last time. You know what, though? He pitched well. I remember there was a game I was like, I like McLean here. He's always the guy that snaps the losing streak for them. Yeah,
7 innings, well. 2 hits, 1 earned, 8 Ks,
exactly.
Lost.
So like you're right. If it's like, I'm almost betting on it now. I'm doing the old this is the old Queen
special.
I
went Mets
There's
abs,
no way they lose. We just
abs.
talked about you can't bet baseball like that. Yeah, there's no way they lose again. This is one of those.
Yeah.
If they can't win tonight with McLean, they're not ever going to win. Because he's their best guy. Like every time, guys, we went over the numbers when his first start of the year. It's a theme of his career, guys. He started 13, 14 games now in his career. I think it's up to 14. He's literally, the Mets have lost 12 times. They never have won he's always the guy that has to put a fire out. The Twins don't suck as much as people thought they were going to. They're kind of a 500 team. You got to lay 60 cents with the Metropolitans tonight, but I think they get it done, Kevin.
I wanted to add this, and I know, it's April, but the biggest gap between first and last place right now in baseball are the Braves and the Mets at 8.5.
Oh, that's real. I don't care if it's April or not. When you're 8.5 back, that's real.
Yeah, but Gabe, guess who has the second best odds to win the NL East? The New York Mets. That's how bad the rest of the division is. Marlins under 500. Respectfully, the Nationals cut it out. This Phillies team's 8-14. They have the third best odds.
They're a disaster.
Atlanta at -150. I'm not going to lock up -150 April division winner future. Atlanta's winning this division. I will be stunned if the Atlanta Braves do not win the NL East right now.
I don't disagree with that. I was thinking the same thing. And I know some people say, it's still early, and I believe in that when you're talking about batter stats and stuff like this, but standings are standings. They don't automatically change because it becomes summertime. Oh, I didn't know those games mattered, Kevin, in April, in May. I thought, aren't the standings you mean all those games counted in the standings? They mattered? Yeah. Oh, I didn't. I heard so much they didn't matter. It was early. No.
Yeah.
And in fact, I was thinking about this, dude. Look, we play 162 games. Let's call 40 games, 25% mark, a quarter of the season. We're moving in on this. We're moving in on a quarter of the season soon. It is starting to get real, and the standings are real. Some divisions, whatever, dude. Everybody's a game. Everybody's 500 or whatever. We're all jammed together. There's no panic. If you're the Mets, you got serious problems. You're 8.5 games back.
Absolutely.
You're 8.5 games back, and it's not even Memorial Day yet. And we're not even close to Memorial Day.
And again, just for the Mets, the expectations for that team is to win a division. And it'd be different if, and I'm not taking shots at the Miami Marlins, but if it was the Marlins on top.
They're the highest payroll in baseball.
But also, it's the Braves in first place. It's not a random team.
They're just going to fall
over
apart.
the last decade.
Unless they get injured, which they always do.
Yeah,
that's the only thing.
That's
the only thing. Right?
Absolutely true. It started to define them. Let me just quickly say this because before we hit a break, I know we got to get the NBA to go to. But sometimes, and I actually think you're the best at this game. Finding something, be like, I'm going to bet it every game. You might just have to lock in every Messick start, every Robleski start. Doesn't matter the number because I know it's 2-0, but it's immediate. The guy rolls. The Guardians are so good when he goes. Robleski, I also can't figure out. Robleski's last 2 starts, he's gone 7+ in both. I don't think he struck out 3 batters in either game, but he's somehow getting guys out for the Dodgers, which is incredible. NBA picks after the break. By setting the play-in up like this, what the NBA is letting everybody know
is that the back-to-backs are completely unacceptable and the worst thing about their schedule. And these fools,
now they give them
guys to
3
play.
days off for one game. Yeah.
They're so scared of back-to-backs. They go, not even in the play-in could we dream of giving anybody a back-to-back.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
It looks like Rory McIlroy and Scotty Scheffler have replaced Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson as must-see golf TV. 14 million people on average watch the Masters on Sunday on CBS. That's not including Paramount Plus. It's up 8% from last year, and it just about tied what was probably the best Masters Sunday performance. That was in 2015 when Jordan Spieth won it.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
We may be talking about this as one of the best divisions in baseball. It's not generally something we do, but if the Pirates just hold court and the Reds just hold court and the Cubs are in this thing, the Brewers are going to be there in the end too. I mean, that's 4 of the 5 teams. I do think the Cardinals are going to push back at some point. They'll fall back a little bit, but I got 4 teams with a possibility of making the postseason here, Donnie.
Pro Baseball Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Whatever your next job is, the first 24 hours, it's going to be a rehashing of this. You have to suck that up. You can't avoid that. Like, I haven't been in prison in 7 years.
But people do bring it up.
And every story written about me still references the fact that I got in trouble.
Right.
So, unfortunately, you have to live with that the rest of your professional career.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
Okay, guys, back in the right here on a Tuesday night on SportsGrid. I said we got the NBA picks coming. I mean that. We do. Obviously, we will get to everything. I did want to bring up, though, some NFL draft, because on Thursday, we are going to really hit this NFL draft coverage from every single angle. You guys know we're going to bet the draft. But we have one of the best examples in recent draft memory of just how chaotic this can get. And the New York Jets are between two guys, and nobody knows who they are picking. It is absolutely remarkable. And to me, it is one thing when we say, hey, out there, they don't know what's going on, but odds makers know. They're just as lost. They are just as lost right now, where we had Arvell Reese around minus 200. Then it flipped to Bailey around minus 200. Arvell Reese got up to minus 400 just the other day. David Bailey is now back in the pole position at minus 150. And we are talking about the second overall pick on Thursday night. Not the 6th, not the 12th, the second pick, Gabe, ping-ponging back and forth.
With Mendoza being such a lock to be the first pick, this has become the hottest topic of conversation. I'd say, this has been the topic of conversation. It's rare that the Jets are ever like the focal point, right? That, Ty Simpson, what's going to happen with Ty Simpson, and what's going to happen with Jeremiah Love. I think those are the 3 most sort of, when we talked about it's not the sexiest draft, but as somebody that follows the draft, Kevin, year-round and does like a weekly hit on it, all right? I am so, angry and just hate myself for not getting a piece of Arvell Reese at, plus 275, plus 300 at one point. Right? I mean, like you said, the odds makers are at the mercy of the media. They do not know. There's been some wild swings with Bailey and with Reese. And smart betting, and you have to have a bankroll, and you have to have the patience to do it, right? But you can literally have both these guys in the plus 250, plus 300 range right now, Kevin. Yeah. And I tell people this every year with the draft. You've got to think outside the box, and whatever the media and the ESPN is telling you, take the other guy, right? And it's not even an insult at them because, Mel Kiper, he's forgotten more about the draft than I'll ever know. I'm not calling him out. He's great. But my point is, they don't know either. And these media narratives become this take, and the odds makers don't have a choice. I've always thought it's going to be Reese the whole time here. Right, and as Bailey talk has come along, Reese only has 7 sacks, and they just the production, and Bailey's the most ready in all this. As a betting man, I think they go Reese personally. And I got Bailey. I think Bailey goes fourth. Seems like a perfect fit with Robert Salah, which would drop Jeremiah Love. But, even though, Kevin, I always tell people, betting the draft guys 48 hours before the draft and 24 hours before the draft is the exact same thing as going shopping for a Christmas present on Christmas Eve at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Right? The shelves are you're not, the shelves are either empty and or you're paying an extreme premium, right, to get what you want to get. You've got to attack the draft like kind of in advance to get the best value, but it doesn't mean or there's not some spots and like, oh yeah, okay, I can live with that bet. And I think a quick, we've got to get to the NBA, but I think you and I are fast up by the same one is, will Cardell Tate actually be the number one wide receiver taken? Right. I'm not so sure it's such a lock as the sports books believe that it is.
Yeah, and we've seen that number move, right? I think you're right, Gabe. There are certain numbers that you have to hit early or you're just dead to rights. But also there are people who bet Arvell Reese at one point at, plus 105 to go first. Watch that number get to minus 400, and they're like, wait, I have a bad number right now? Like, so that's where the draft gets really crazy.
Kevin?
100%.
Ruben Bain was
100%.
He was in the mix for the number one pick for a while, right? Like it was the quarterbacks, but then we got
wasn't
to the
a quarterback,
it was like, all right, yeah. Well, we was like, all right, let's see who the men are that can play in the NFL now in the trenches. What has Ruben Bain done, Kevin? Different. Everybody knew he had smaller arms. Like that's the knock on him. All right, he got into a car accident. I think someone died years ago in a car accident type thing. It was years ago. And he's not some madman driving every day. There's been no incidences or whatnot since, you know what I mean? He didn't get criminally charged, right? So people always look for flaws here, but, Kevin, I think people talk about Bailey, people talk about Reese. My eyeball watching football, I didn't see many players that impacted a football game as much as Ruben Bain Jr. did.
Yeah,
and they got him. He's fallen to 10 now and stuff. And just quickly, I saw an offensive lineman. I don't know who it was. This guy played in the league, smart guy. I wish I could remember his name, but he actually was talking about Ruben Bain. And he goes, man, all this short arm stuff, he goes, doesn't mean nothing. He goes, this guy's a baller. And he just basically showed, though, he said, this is his problem. He comes in too low, but he basically said, don't believe the hype. This kid is a menace to society on a defensive line. And right now, people got him going 10, 11. He's fallen out of the top 10 in a lot of people's drafts.
Yeah, no one would have expected that.
I don't think they know, right? Kevin. I think it's like the WNBA. I think this NFL mock draft is going to leave the so-called insiders and experts dumbfounded. I think there'll be a lot of, they did a bad thing because it didn't follow their mock draft.
I actually think it could be a draft where the money is made 16, the back half of the draft, where one of the things, and we'll get to the picks. So I'm glad we did this. Here's one of, I think, the biggest issues, something that I do believe from all the insiders. The Arizona Cardinals want to draft an offensive lineman, and they know from a value talent perspective, that's an outrageous decision at third overall. To take an either Maui Noah with a herniated disc at 3, with Bailey or Reese or Styles on the board, or to go out there and not get a
superstar
offensive
really have a quarterback to protect. You don't even really have a quarterback to protect,
And all these offensive linemen, Gabe, they're like, they might be guards. Maui Noah, Fano, they might be guards.
If I'm Arizona, I'm drafting whoever the Jets don't take. I'll be like, hey, we got Arvell Reese at 3. Beautiful. We're taking him. Point blank.
But that's why
we got Bailey at 3. I'm taking him.
They're like, Arizona's going to trade out.
Lineman.
Yeah. They're like, oh, well, don't worry. Arizona will trade out.
Okay, let me ask you, too. Sorry.
Ooh.
There's a prop. I found this at BetOnline. There's a prop. Over under 5.5 trades in the first round. Over under 5.5 trades in the first round. I don't think there's going to be 6 trades in the first round because I don't think there's players that people want to trade up for enough. Like, where are 6 trades coming from?
Yeah. What are the ooh. Interesting. That's interesting. That's a good one. Peter Schrager burned me off,
Kevin. That's a lot.
That a couple of years ago. It's a lot of trades. It is. I'll never forgive Schrager for that one. I'll never forgive.
By setting the play-in up like this, what the NBA is letting everybody know is that the back-to-backs are completely unacceptable and the worst thing about their schedule. And these fools,
Yeah. Now they give them 3 days off for one game. Yeah.
They're so scared of back-to-backs. They go, not even in the play-in could we dream of giving anybody a back-to-back.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
It looks like Rory McIlroy and Scotty Scheffler have replaced Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson as must-see golf TV. 14 million people on average watch the Masters on Sunday on CBS. That's not including Paramount Plus. It's up 8% from last year, and it just about tied what was probably the best Masters Sunday performance. That was in 2015 when Jordan Spieth won it.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
We may be talking about this as one of the best divisions in baseball. It's not generally something we do, but if the Pirates just hold court and the Reds just hold court and the Cubs are in this thing, the Brewers are going to be there in the end too. I mean, that's 4 of the 5 teams. I do think the Cardinals are going to push back at some point. They'll fall back a little bit, but I got 4 teams with a possibility of making the postseason here, Donnie.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Whatever your next job is, the first 24 hours, it's going to be a rehashing of this. You have to suck that up. You can't avoid that. Like, I haven't been in prison in 7 years.
But people do
and
bring it
every
up.
story written about me still references the fact that I got in trouble.
Right.
So, unfortunately, you have to live with that the rest of your professional career.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
All right, game time decisions on a Tuesday night. We're making it happen. We have gone through some of these cards here. There are a couple of NBA player props I want to make sure I mention as I go through the picks here, and then I'll get it over to you, Gabe. I'll mention the baseball quickly. Dodgers -1.5. Royals money line. I think they snapped their streak. Tigers money line off and running. I'm doing it again. We'll see how it goes. Under 9 in D-backs, White Sox. That total looks a little too high to me. And then we got I wrote Mets Kings. That's my fault. That is entirely my fault. That is supposed to be Mets Avs. A Mets Kings moneyline parlay would pay out much differently. That is my fault. Mets Avs moneyline parlay. But the 2 player props in the NBA, Peyton Pritchard over 13.5, Dylan Harper over 8.5 points. Couple of guards off the bench who I think see an uptick in usage. My favorite of those is Dylan Harper, guys. Dylan Harper closed the regular season with 9 or more points in 12 consecutive games. He really flipped his season around in the back end of January, averaging 13.5 points per game, had 9 points in 28 of 33 games to close out the regular season. He just missed out on this in game 1 against Portland. I really like Dylan Harper for 9 tonight, Gabe, against the Blazers.
Listen, I got to throw your guy at you here. LeBron James, spectacular in game 1. Dude, his rebounds and assist prop tonight is 16.5. The guy had 8 assists in the first quarter. Finished with 13 assists, 8 rebounds in game 1. Without Austin Reeves, without Luka, LeBron is showing I can still carry a basketball team. It's 16.5 tonight, Kevin. Rebounds and assists, I don't see why he doesn't get there. I'm gonna jump on your boy LeBron James. Oh, and I'll tell you one player too, guys, really been balling. It's not in my picks here. I just want to throw it out there. Torrey Eason. Gotta like Torrey Eason's game, man. What Torrey Eason is bringing to the table for the Houston Rockets, his prop tonight is 9.5. I know Durant is supposedly back. I don't know. Like, it's not official. He's listed in the player props, etc. But I wouldn't be scared of Eason. Eason's been fun, a fun player that's been pretty productive in the minutes that he gets at 9.5. But I like that LeBron prop. And Scoot Henderson's really good to us, too. And his prop is only 9.5 tonight. But let's keep this thing pretty simple with our picks here this evening. Listen, man, the Canadians aren't automatically going to lose this game just because Tampa wants it. I think Tampa are too heavily favored. I can see this game going to overtime. Give me the Montreal. I'm always worried about that empty netter with these plus 1.5s, but give me plus 1.5 with the Montreal Canadiens in Tampa tonight. Buffalo Sabres. I think it's a good spot for the Sabres. They hadn't played a home game in 14 years. had to be nervous. The crowd was super excited. They were there like 6 hours before the game, waiting to get in and stuff. They were down 2-0. They score 4 late goals. I kind of think it carries over, and they roll in. And Boston's really good at home. They're not a great road team. So don't be surprised that, Boston wins at home. But give me Buffalo tonight. Give me Vegas to win. Vegas didn't play great the other night, and they still found a way to win. I think this will be a home ice-dominated series. They're going to be going crazy in Utah, first-ever playoffs there. But give me Vegas again tonight. Public parlay of the night. Let's go with the Celtics to win, the Spurs to win, and the Avs to win at -133. And the Los Angeles Lakers +5 points. Durant or not. Give me the Lakers +5, Kevin. And what a game. We talked about it. Everyone has won or covered, etc. I wouldn't be surprised if, the Rockets won this one by 2 or something. But give me the 5.
And that's why you notice that game isn't on my card, because I think Durant misses, and then I'm hoping to get I think it's possible that the Lakers close as favorites if Durant gets ruled out. I think the reactions could be that big in the market.
They got to believe he's playing, Kevin, and we're getting this late. I know we're still hours away, but it's getting late.
But,
you know what I mean?
Of course, but they believed it full-heartedly, as we said in game number 1.
You're right.
They were stunned.
Right.
These books were offering up profit boosts. Hey, LeBron and Durant to combine for 50, and it's like, what
2
do I do
hours
with this
before
now?
the game they were.
Yes.
Yeah, like an hour before the game they were.
Like,
exactly.
I just, to me, that Durant injury is new, and I wonder if Houston is telling themselves, again, Kevin Durant, LeBron is so old that we forget how old guys like Kevin Durant and Steph Curry are. Kevin Durant wouldn't have to play until Friday. If he does not play in this basketball game. That's 2 weeks of rest, basically.
That's why they got to suck it up and almost sit him tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think happens here. Behind the scenes, we mentioned a Red Sox moneyline play for AJ. MJ Melendez for a hit-run RBI. -153 for Chris. That is not usually his wheelhouse. I respect it. Yarnell with another goal scorer goes Tage Thompson +120, Gabe, for the Buffalo Sabres.
Don't hate it. I knew there had to be a Sabre prop coming from our boy Yarnell.
Yeah.
Who's got to be killing him that he's not at the game tonight.
It looks like it's going to be a madhouse. I will say the other goal scorer that caught my eye, how does Nathan McKinnon not score? But I also didn't want to be too greedy.
Let's go with Cole Caulfield to score.
There we go. There we go.
By setting the play-in up like this, what the NBA is letting everybody know is that the back-to-backs are completely unacceptable and the worst thing about their schedule. And these fools,
now they give them
guys to
3
play.
days off for one game. Yeah.
They're so scared of back-to-backs. They go, not even in the play-in could we dream of giving anybody a back-to-back.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
It looks like Rory McIlroy and Scotty Scheffler have replaced Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson as must-see golf TV. 14 million people on average watch the Masters on Sunday on CBS. That's not including Paramount Plus. It's up 8% from last year, and it just about tied what was probably the best Masters Sunday performance. That was in 2015 when Jordan Spieth won it.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
We may be talking about this as one of the best divisions in baseball. It's not generally something we do, but if the Pirates just hold court and the Reds just hold court and the Cubs are in this thing, the Brewers are going to be there in the end too. I mean, that's 4 of the 5 teams. I do think the Cardinals are going to push back at some point. They'll fall back a little bit, but I got 4 teams with a possibility of making the postseason here, Donnie.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Whatever your next job is, the first 24 hours, it's going to be a rehashing of this. You have to suck that up. You can't avoid that. I haven't been in prison in 7 years.
But people do bring it up.
And every story written about me still references the fact that I got in trouble.
Right.
So, unfortunately, you have to live with that the rest of your professional career.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.